Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to a video. It's going to be a little bit of a different video. Today I got a comment while I was making some lunch. I got a comment on one of my gold guides for the new DLC weapons, and the comment was, I'm struggling on Rust with getting camos, and I would like to know how to efficiently get camos on Rust. So this is going to be a guide on how to fast and efficiently get camos on Rust, specifically for Damascus, and then just how to dominate Rust in general. And it is Valentine's Day, so if you guys are having a happy Valentine's Day, it's going to be fun. I have a date with your mom tonight, and don't worry, I will have her home at a respectable time tomorrow morning. Anyway, let's get into it. So first things first, normal kills. You can get kills anywhere. Headshots, same thing. Crouch kills. I like to come up here. I'll crouch around. There are 4 spawns on the map that I consider the 4 spawns. And kill confirmed in TDM, you will have enemies spawning down below you, but you don't really worry about that. So the 4 spawns are that corner, that corner, that corner, and that corner. Think of it as the enemies will most likely always be spawning on the opposite sides of you during objectives. So if you're spawning here, enemies are going to be spawning there. If you're spawning there, enemies are spawning here, vice versa. Sometimes the spawns will get mixed up, so you'll be spawning there and enemies will be spawning there. So sometimes you'll spawn there and enemies are spawning there. Sometimes you'll spawn there and enemies are spawning there, so on and so forth. It's just kind of how the map works. It always has worked with like this with weird spawns, but a lot of the times, if you start your game spawning there, the enemies are going to spawn there. And then so I'll actually show you what I do at the beginning of the game, depending on where I spawn, just to get myself a good position. Because if you have a good position right off the bat, you will basically dominate this map a lot easier. So first thing I do once I spawn, I'll usually come up here. I don't worry about there because usually teammates run that way, and enemies aren't really going to get to this area of the map very fast. So I'll kind of come up here. Usually I'll be sprinting all the way up, but as I sprint up, I'll keep track of what's going on there, and kind of on the pipes there. Because once you get to here, sometimes you'll have enemies cross onto that pipe and cross just that way. If they don't see you, you can kind of just pop up. And then for the next probably 20 to 30 seconds, all enemies will be spawning in that area. So you have a really easy spawn trap right off the start. And let me show you what happens if you spawn here. Of course, you could go either that way or that way and vice versa on the other sides, but this is just to get a power position on top of Rust. So from here, I'll come here, run all the way to this pipe. The only place you have to worry about is there, and then the second I get up here, sometimes enemies will come from this direction, so I will kind of pre-aim and maybe take a jump pre-fire. And if there's no enemies in this kind of area, usually the enemies are all along this part or even climbing up to the top of Rust to do that. Okay, so crouch kills you can do anywhere on the map. If enemies are spawning here, I tend to just crouch on the 2nd level. Very rarely will I crouch on the 3rd level. Actually, well, of course I'll crouch on the 3rd level, but for going for crouch kills, I usually just stick to the 2nd level. And then on the 3rd level, if they're spawning here, you can kind of just get those easy kills that way. Same thing here. A lot of the times they'll spawn there, and if you're cheeky enough, they'll spawn there and you can kind of get those pre-aim like shots there as well. So that pretty much covers spawns and everything you need to know. Of course, spawns will change based on where your teammates are and where you are, and you will learn that as you play through the map and get used to it. So, and we've also covered kills, headshots, and crouch kills. So leaning kills, what you can do is I like to come up here, I'll lean here and watch this spawn. Sometimes if they're spawning there, I'll lean there. If they are spawning down there, usually I will come and lean on some of these posts, or I guess posts, or I guess reinforcements. If they're spawning here, I'll lean here and watch both ways. Also underneath, I'll lean here, get some leaning kills that way, and then just any of the like I guess not underground pathways, but the bottom pathways, you can get some easy leaning kills there. Now the main thing I do want to show you is if the enemies are spawning either there or there. More importantly there, because if they're spawning there, they're most likely going to kill you off of this, even though in my Striker 45 gold gun guide video, I did get a bunch of kills there. And if you guys want to see actual gameplay of me doing these strategies, check out the Grau 556 gold gun guide and the Striker 45 gold gun guide to see that in action. But I'll lean there, and then if the enemies are spawning there, I will lean here, and basically every time they peek, because I got a thermal, you'll get easy kills basically. And if they're spawning here, Usually I will put a deployable cover here just because I will die really easily if I'm just leaning off of this one pole. And the reason I run thermal on this map is because a lot of the times you'll get put in a weird spawn. So I'll come over here. Sometimes you will spawn right here and you will have enemies down there and across there that will be spawn trapping you, and they will see you before you see them because of like the dust clouds and the smoke clouds. So if you spawn here and the enemies are right there, usually without thermal, so if I switch to that, it's a little bit harder to see them, especially because their heads will be blending in with the dust and all that type of stuff. So if you have thermal, you will easily be able to see through a lot of the dust clouds, and it just gives you better judgment of range. And worst case scenario, if you're getting spawn trapped and you keep spawning here, okay, with a pistol, it's pretty hard to see where enemies are going to be, especially if they're right there. So if you get spawn trapped, you can see enemies there easily. And if worse comes to worse, you can always pop a smoke right off of spawn and you can aim through it. And unless they have a thermal too, you will have the advantage. Also, smoke grenades do help a lot, because you can smoke basically anywhere you're going, right? So since I'm out of smokes, pretend the C4 is a smoke. I can throw a smoke grenade there. That whole area is now going to be smoked, so I can kind of get up to here and kind of get those kills, hopefully not drop off in a real game, and just get those kills that way. And then get up to here, check my 9, check my 3, and check my 6. Usually, your teammates will be spawning you and hopefully covering you. If you have teammates that are partied together with, that is pretty much the best way to do it. Also, if the enemies are spawning over there, if they're killing me off the top quite frequently, I will set a deployable cover right here, and then I will mount on them that way, and they will spawn there, 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 and kind of just behind the crate, but you can get those kills super easily. So that covers the leaning kills. Now for 3 kills without dying, there will be lots of times where you will achieve that on this map, especially if you're spawn trapping. Sometimes I've gotten like a 9 kill streak just from spawn trapping. So I'll be sitting right here and I'll kill like 5-6 people, which will count for one of the 3 kills without dying. Pretty straightforward. So also, if you're using an assault rifle, SMG, LMG, marksman rifle, the best places to just spawn trap are going to be up here or in the 2nd level. And for long shots differ. So pistols, if you're up here with a pistol on hardcore, it's going to be 1 to 2 shots to kill an enemy at basically all 4 spawn locations, which is going to be super beneficial to you because you'll do those long shots right off the bat. Also, I don't think... Actually, no, I can just jump off to kill myself to switch classes, because we're big smart out here. So with SMGs, same thing. You will get long shots in... Okay, this counts for assault rifles, LMGs, and SMGs. If you spawn here, enemies that you kill in that crate will count as long shots. Depending on how far back they are on the wall, or if they're up on the pipe, or all the way up there, you can get long shots that way. Marksman rifles, same thing. Sniper rifles, I have yet to get a long shot on this map. Maybe if you spawned all the way, or I guess not even spawn. So you spawn here, you climb up here. If I can get the brain cells together to do it. Maybe if you kill an enemy with a sniper right there, it will count as a long shot, but I recommend doing long shots on ground war for snipers. Every other gun you can get long shots in this location. You can get long shots if the enemies are over there. Maybe actually no, yeah, definitely if they're in the back corner, you can get a long shot that way with an SMG and assault rifle. Very rarely, if you're holding the middle tower, you will get long shots. So if you're like trying to get long shots that way, you're obviously not going to get long shots there. If you're on the ground floor, sometimes you can get long shots by aiming at that spawn right there. But that's pretty much, that covers SMGs, ARs, and all that fun stuff. Now let's talk about launchers. This map is extremely good for launchers, especially in hardcore. I probably have died 100 to 200 times on this map just from explosives and launchers alone. So let's say, for example, you have the tower under control and the enemies are spawning there, right? Say 3 enemies spawn right there on hardcore. That one rocket's going to kill all 3 super easily. And if the enemies are spawning behind there, boom, easy. I didn't know there was a time limit on that. But yeah, it's rocket super easy to do. There's lots of kill streaks in this Rust map, so you will have lots of opportunity to kill ground streaks, air streaks, enemies, especially on game modes like Headquarters and Domination. Getting attacker and defender kills is going to be super straightforward and super easy to do. Melees, I'm gonna start up the map again. We're not gonna have any camo to show off, but I'll throw on some melee weapons and I'll show you how to do easy melees. So far, other than Shipment, I think this is the best map because you can do every category, even long shots for guns that you couldn't do on Shipment just because of sheer size of the map. But you can do launchers super easily on this map, SMGs, assault rifles, pistols, shotguns, LMGs. Like, my favorite thing to do was getting the actual Growl 5.56 and the Striker 45 gold, just because it only took me like 2 hours for each of them. So, if you're in hardcore or core, regardless of what you do, if you're doing the knife, I recommend playing core, and if you're in hardcore, I recommend playing the shield. If you are getting knife kills, if the enemies are being super big douchebags and kind of camping along this path right here, you can kind of jump them and get a quick knife kill, and that's pretty much that. But I highly recommend avoiding all of the outside of the map while trying to get the knife or the shield or just any future DLC weapons gold. What I recommend doing in hardcore, so picture us in hardcore, take your shield out. Any enemy that's like in this hallway, if you get the jump on them, so say you're running here and you get a quick slide, they will not have any opportunity to shoot you because your shield will be blocking all of that damage that they're shooting, and you can get an easy knife kill that way. Also, around here, a lot of enemies will camp in this lower area, especially right here, so they'll try to be spawn trapping you that way, or they might even just be up here. You can get an easy knife kill, especially with the shield in hardcore. I've died some pretty embarrassing deaths from people with the shield. So this main floor, you can get a lot of easy knife kills. So you see that slide there? You can get a bunch of shield kills that way. Right here, if an enemy's in this little corridor, they're screwed. Even if they're in the bottom here, and if you get the jump on them, you can basically get that shield kill or knife kill as well. The only other part of the map that you can kind of get melee kills on is this closed off side. Very rarely, so if you spawn here and the enemies are in the crate, very rarely you can get shield kills that way. And if the enemies are spawning back there and they're kind of focusing on your team shooting at them over there, you can kind of sneak behind them. Especially smoke grenades will help you a lot in this. And yeah, very rarely with a knife you'll make it onto the third story. The only time you should be up here trying to get a knife or shield gold is if the last person alive on the enemy team in a headquarters match, if the enemy has the headquarters and their respawn is disabled, if the last person for some reason is facing this way or any way but the way you get up, you can knife him that way. But anyway, pretty sure that covers all 9 yards for getting Damascus on this map super easily. It's a little bit different of a video. I know it's not the most polished thing I've ever put out. Oh, also, I did forget about this, but if you want to get long shots, if the enemies are spawning kind of like right where my crosshairs are back there, you can get long shots that way easily. And I think if they're spawning that far back corner, if you do have a sniper, you can get long shots that way. But once again, ground war is the place to be. Anyway, that's going to be it for the map Damascus guide. I guess it's not really a Damascus guide. It's just tips and tricks for Rust on how to get Damascus and grind camos easier. Let me know if you guys want to see this on other maps as well. I'm pretty sure most maps have been covered, but I can cover Atlas or any other of the new maps. I guess there only is one new map, but I can cover any other maps that you guys want to see in the future. Oh, also did forget this spot. If the enemies are spawning there or trying to push you, you can just kind of shoot them as they spawn there. And if they're spawning there, they're going to kill you right away. If they're spawning there, they're going to kill you right away, and you can't see that spawn. Anyway, that's going to be the video today, guys. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Dislike if you didn't. Keep in mind that it is scientifically proven that it is a certified bruh moment if you leave a like, and if you dislike, you are a herb. I'm about to head out, and if there is one, I'll see you in the next one. And also, don't forget, Damascus camo stuff in the description down below. There's some cool stuff in there. Peace.